Guys, welcome back to another video. There is a massive breaking report that came out this morning, and it has to do with the next Nintendo console. As we know right now, the Nintendo Switch is a very successful console. It is still successful. Games are still selling like crazy. We even got numbers for Pikmin 4 that just released. And in Japan, it's already outsold Final Fantasy 16's lifetime sales with over 400,000 units sold at launch. So Nintendo is on a different level when it comes to their games, when it comes to pushing the units for the Nintendo Switch. Pretty crazy stuff there. But there have been non-stop rumors about a Nintendo Switch 2. Always popping up in the news. None of them have really been correct. Most of them have been fake or made up. But now we actually have some real rumors, some real sources, you could say, some real corroborated stuff here when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2. This is an original report here from Video Games Chronicle, and they have some intel that the Nintendo Switch 2 dev kits are out in the wild. Here is what they say, and here is what we know right now of what to expect here from the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2. It says, according to multiple people with knowledge of Nintendo's next-gen console plans, the company is likely to release new hardware during the second half of 2024. And this is very reminiscent of the original Nintendo Switch. They announced it in October of 2016, and then they released it in March of 2017. And if they're going to be releasing this in the second half of 2024, there's probably going to be an upcoming announcement shortly before the end of this year. It says here that they want to ensure it has ample stock available on day one and avoid the kind of shortages seen with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S. Obviously, that was something that really did plague the launch of those two consoles at the beginning of the generation in 2020, with the supply really only hitting the availability for the demand 2 years after the release of those consoles. And then there's still some supply issues here and there, but nothing too crazy there, especially with the Xbox Series X. That's still not up there with PS5 in terms of supply, but we kind of know why with that, with the whole Activision Blizzard acquisition, the stuff that came out in the documents, that they admitted that they had sacrificed the console supply so that they could push forward their vision for the future, which was cloud, putting consoles into the server stack, all of that type of stuff. So we'll see how that shapes up in the next couple of years. I feel like the supply with the Xbox Series X will catch up to the supply of the PS5 in the next year or so. But the Nintendo Switch, they don't want to have any of those issues. They want to make these things readily available for people who do want to pick them up at launch. Now, they say here that the specific details on the console are being kept closely guarded, and those that VGC spoke to indicated that the next-gen console would be able to be used in portable mode. So it's going to be very similar to the current Nintendo Switch, and I don't know why they would ever abandon that, honestly, going forward, as that is the main selling point, I think, for this thing, is that people were happy to be able to play this in mobile on the go. And it really revitalized mobile handheld gaming. Look at what we're seeing now with the releases of all of these handheld gaming PCs. If the Nintendo Switch wasn't as popular as it was, would we be seeing that? I think that's a pretty good question to ask. I feel like maybe they wouldn't be investing time and resources into stuff like the Asus ROG Ally or the Steam Deck. The Switch really showed that handheld gaming is very popular and here to stay. Now, here is some information about the screen. As we know, currently with the Nintendo Switch, there are two versions of it. There is the LCD version and the OLED version. And the OLED version, far and away, is a huge jump in just being able to play these games in handheld mode. It makes a big difference. I have both, and I can never go back to playing my OG Nintendo Switch in handheld mode after using the OLED version. It's just that much better. Unfortunately, though, with the Nintendo Switch 2, it looks like it's going to be launching with an LCD screen, which isn't very exciting if you're somebody who was hoping for an OLED screen. The reason for this is to keep the costs down, which is very in line of what Nintendo would want to do. I feel like this is going to be $399. They do not want to go over that. And in order to do that, it's going to have that LCD screen. Now, when it comes to storage, one of the biggest things that was annoying with the Nintendo Switch was its onboard storage. It was 32 gigabytes of internal memory. Obviously, you could easily upgrade that with the micro SD, which was nice, but the current gen games, a lot of them take over, like they say here, 100 gigabytes, or even if they're like 50 gigabytes plus, 32 gigabytes of internal memory is not nearly enough. The question will be, what is the Nintendo Switch going to come with? Are they going to put more onboard memory, or are they going to go with this same model here of a small amount, and then you can go ahead and upgrade it with something like a micro SD card. We'll wait and see. I think a lot of this is going to depend on how well these games will run on the different types of memory. Will there be an SSD inside of this Nintendo Switch to keep up with the current stuff on the market with the Xbox and the PlayStation? Here's hoping that is the case, because I mean, those load times, when you don't ever want to go back to the old load times from the slower type of memory that we had on previous consoles. Now, when it comes to physical games, it is still going to be accepting cartridges, which I think is a good thing. Happy that there will still be physical games available on Nintendo, especially because if you look at something like the collecting market, Nintendo consoles are always very collectible. Nintendo Switch, there's tons of collectible stuff out there. People want that. And I think Nintendo does know that there's a premium on physical Nintendo games, especially physical first party Nintendo games compared to the other platforms, and they're going to want to keep that market alive and well, and they will still, according to this, be accepting physical games, which is good to see. Now, backwards compatibility, I think they have to have backwards compatibility support for the current Nintendo Switch, physical and digital stuff. I feel like that they will, but that right now remains unclear. I'm sure they'll announce that right when they put out this console. But I feel like if they're trying to switch over a lot of the current Nintendo Switch user base, which is over 100 million, they can't abandon that. They won't abandon that. You can almost bet the backwards compatibility will be on the Nintendo Switch 2. So that's really all we know. All the other stuff is just kind of speculation and looking at the financials of Nintendo, where their sales have been falling to a point where it's time to bring out a Nintendo Switch 2. This thing's been out since 2017, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to see what they will launch with. I'm still having hopes that maybe Metroid Prime 4 has been pushed off all of this time, gone through all the development hell, all that type of stuff, so that it can launch with the new Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever they will call it. And I'm sure there will be some new types of technology, some new gimmicks in there that Nintendo always puts out with their consoles that we have no idea and will be completely surprised about. So there is another player coming in to compete with the Xbox Series X, S, and the PlayStation 5. Although the current Nintendo Switch still competes with it very well, Nintendo is going to bring something to the market that I think people will be talking about. And Xbox and PlayStation are going to have to be aware of, because with how strong the Nintendo Switch brand is. But I will leave the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit the subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.